Hello again, everybody. Henry Tafoya here at ringside on the State Fairgrounds in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Color commentator Dan Cicenos. Dan, the Rising Stars format, the philosophy of Lenny Frescas as he puts these shows on regularly, what is he trying to establish?
Well, what he's trying to establish is a game plan that is actually working, Henry. He's building the record of the fighters, getting them a little bit of exposure, as we all know, but he is putting them in fairly tough. I mean, he is bringing them up in steps, and that's what you have to do in boxing. We've seen the rise of fighters like Andreas Fernandez and Chris Linson. They're climbing the way they should be. I think Lenny's doing it right, and we're going to see some more of that tonight.
Well, I have a hint that it's going to be very exciting. If you're curious, I am too. Stay tuned. Boxing coming your way next. Well, we are ready to get it on the State Fairgrounds in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Championship Boxing. Frescas Productions presents you Rising Stars 9. Here's our ring announcer, Mike Adams.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Manuel Hahn Jr. building in the beautiful city of Albuquerque in the state of New Mexico. Tonight, Frescas Productions and Max Staken represent Rising Stars 9. Your first part of the evening will be Ron Smith versus Andrew Staley, and the combatants will now come to the ring. Introducing first, out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 266 pounds. He has a professional record of 4 wins, 10 losses, 3 by way of knockout. He hails from the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas, Ronnie Smith. And in the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at 240 pounds. He has a professional record of 4 wins with 1 loss and 3 by way of knockout. From St. Petersburg, Florida, Andrew D.J. Staley. 6 rounds heavyweights.
Well, Dan, we are ready to get it on here. And these are very big young men with a capital B, I might say.
Absolutely. Ron Smith is a pretty impressive, big football player-looking guy. D.J. Staley isn't too bad himself, Henry.
Ron Smith will wear the black trunks, solid black. And, of course, Andrew Staley is with the red trim, also in black trunks. And they have a lot of beef to them, 266 pounds against 240 pounds. These are definitely heavyweights. Now Staley with a 4-1-3 record, obviously the favorite here, and obviously the aggressor here early on. Ron Smith, obviously, if he hits you right, you'll feel it and you'll go down. Overhand right by Andrew Staley. Makes good contact, just feeling out his opponent Ron Smith here this evening. Good right hand over the smack on top of the head. And you get hit right on top of the head, Daniel, from a guy that big, that's got to hurt.
It's going to hurt his hand, too. He hits me on top of the head, Henry. But these are a couple of powerhouses, Henry. Look at D.J. Staley. He's got good power, 3 knockouts and 4 wins.
Andrew Staley, obviously. And there's a shot on the chin from Staley. And Staley literally toying with Ron Smith at this juncture. Smith doing all he can do right now just to stand up and keep his equilibrium. Very curious, very interesting looking crowd here this evening. They have come to watch professional boxing. Frescas Productions putting on the show again. Rising Stars #9. Well, Ron Smith has weathered the storm, at least temporarily, Dan.
Yeah, Henry, and I'll tell you, Ron Smith has 14 pro fights, that 4-10 record, but D-Day Staley is pretty experienced. He's been a sparring partner for some pretty big names, including Evander Holyfield, so Andrew Staley does know what he's doing.
Staley with good combination with a left and a right, and tags Ron Smith. Round 1, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Staley could be a little bit busier. It might be the thing to do against this heavier man. D-Day Staley has a good jab. If he'll just show it a little bit more, I think he could control Mr. Smith.
Now Staley connecting with 2 left hands, and the right hand just missed. Referee Merv Nephew has his work cut out for him here, trying to separate these 2 huge young men.
Nice right hand by Staley, and he has a good one, Henry. He could put you away if he connects clean.
Now from their movements, neither one very quick. They will stay in one position for a long period of time, and obviously both of them depend a great deal on their power.
Yep, typical heavyweight fight.
Staley 4-1-3. A correction, 4-1 with 3 knockouts, 240 pounds. And we'll be back with round 2 right after this. Welcome back. As we begin round 2, Andrew Staley clearly was the winner of round 1, in my opinion. How about you, Dan?
Oh, definitely. Andrew Staley doing just a little bit more.
And here comes Ron Smith getting busy, and has Andrew Staley against the ropes. And those body shots are really making good contact.
This is where Smith can do some damage when he gets Staley on the ropes. He shouldn't let him off. He has the weight advantage. I think he should just press it.
Andrew Staley, obviously, in control early on, but Ron Smith surprised him with that rush and pinned him against the ropes. And again, her nephew talking to him, so he doesn't have to break that clinch. And from a referee's point of view, obviously that is a little tougher than separating guys like Danny Romero and Johnny Tapia.
And Henry, that's what I was just going to say. You know, we get kind of used to those little guys here, and they're all speed and flash, and these big boys are just like slow motion versions of Danny and Johnny.
They're scheduled for 6 rounds of boxing. Andrew Staley trying various combinations here, and depending on how well conditioned these 2 athletes are, I'm wondering if 6 rounds is going to be accomplished here tonight. Now Staley wears D-Day on his waist on that red trim. I wonder what the significance of that is.
Oh, I don't know, Henry. Doomsday for his opponent, I guess.
And all the bombs that he throws, and there's a big bomb that makes contact on the chin of Ron Smith.
Henry, last time I saw Staley fighting up in Las Vegas, New Mexico, he fought Gilbert Martinez from Albuquerque, and it was a good back and forth fight. Staley controlled it, but in the end, Staley broke the nose of Martinez, and he finished him off pretty impressively in that fight.
Ron Smith continues to press forward. Right hand that just grazes the left chin of Ron Smith.
A lot of wrestling in there, and these two guys are going to wear each other down with all that arm wrestling on the inside there.
Well, they might be saving the big bomb. Each of them obviously has one. Not extremely aggressive fighters for the most part, at least not up to this point. Good left hand, right hand combination by Andrew Staley.
Henry, nice move by Andrew Staley. He kind of hopped back and he led Smith into the trap, and then he launched the right hand. I like that little move. I think he could do a few more little cute things like that. He can get Smith out of here.
Well, a big right hand by Ron Smith went nowhere fast. Andrew Staley saw it coming and ducked out of the way. We'll be back with round 3 right after this. Round 3, Rising Stars, number 9. We're on the State Fairgrounds at the Manuel Lujan building. Henry Tafoya along with Daniel Cisneros at ringside. Well, Ron Smith is going to have to play catch-up, Daniel, here in round 3.
I think so, and I think that was his game plan coming in. Just look for the big bomb. Typical one-punch surprise fighter, I would say.
Well, he's wide, extremely stocky, and obviously very strong. This is no easy task for Andrew Staley tonight.
No, and Ron Smith with a 4-10 record, but 3 of those wins by knockout, so you're going to have to watch yourself with this big, strong man.
Ron Smith from Dallas, Texas. Andrew Staley from St. Petersburg, Florida. A lot of leaning up against one another in this fight. Uppercuts. And neither one is going to dazzle you with his footwork. But obviously, they have come here to impress upon this audience that they are power punchers. Maybe the best yet to come here in this fight.
Henry, I know Andrew Staley sometimes gets a little lackadaisical in his fights, and when he turns it on, though, he can be impressive. As I said earlier, he's a former sparring partner of Phil Jackson, Evander Holyfield, some world-class fighters, and he proved himself pretty well with those guys, so he can really bring something if he can just turn it on.
Big nasty left hook to the midsection by Ron Smith. Andrew Staley trying to stay out of harm's way because that hurt.
You'll notice Ron Smith kind of ducks his head into the chest of Staley. He wants to fight on the inside. Staley would like to get a little more room, like that uppercut.
Big
right
uppercut there. And Ron Smith obviously was dazed by it.
Low blow.
Now a little complaint by Staley to the referee, Merv Nephew. Andrew Staley, 2 big hits to the head of Ron Smith.
But Henry, it looks like Ron Smith has found a home for that uppercut. I think he landed it, and he liked the way it felt. He's trying to get back in there and get into the groove and score a series of those uppercuts.
Well, we'll reiterate, there's a big right hand by Andrew Staley. Not in the best of physical condition, but yet they've come here to entertain this crowd tonight in Albuquerque. Right hand, left hand, and then the retaliation from Andrew Staley.
Better than 500 pounds of beef in there, and Ron Smith is using 266 of it to lean on Staley.
Well, we will look forward to round number 4 when we come back in 1 minute. As we begin round 4, in my opinion, Staley clearly the leader here. Daniel?
Yeah, I think Smith started to do a little bit more, Henry, but he's just not busy enough. Andrew Staley he's the man leading this dance right now.
And Andrew Staley looks a little more fresh. Good left hand, misses with the left hand. Now a little bit more movement. Now here comes Ron Smith. Well, Staley is going to have to move some, or he's going to be in big trouble, because Ron Smith can really throw the big punch. If you're going to stand there, he's going to deliver one to you. Staley well aware of that now. And there's a left hand that gets through and hurts Staley.
And one thing about Andrew Staley, you might see look a little soft around the middle there. Actually, he's in pretty good shape compared to some of the other fights I've seen him in, Henry. He's had 5 pro fights, 3 of those in Albuquerque. There's a nice right hand. More of that.
Well, I would be careful, because Ron Smith already has established himself here that he can sling a few. And we've seen in too many bouts, there's a big right hand from Staley. Counter with a left hand from Ron Smith. In every bout, you can see lucky punches land, and many times so-called lucky punches drop the opponent. And I think that is the game plan for Ron Smith here, as he is hoping and praying for the big one to land, because he is way behind in points, I would think.
It's amazing how much punishment these big men can take too, Henry. They're big and strong, and they can absorb so much punishment.
Oh, left hand squarely on the jaw of Andrew Staley from Ron Smith. Staley was coming right at it.
I think that kind of got the attention of Staley right there, though, Henry. Smith definitely woke him up. That had to hurt.
Now Ron Smith not trying the body. And he'll have Staley up against the ropes. If he wanted him, he would have had him. Big wild left hand. Now both fighters are missing punches.
Henry, a lot of the psychology of a sparring partner, you know, you get into that mentality and you get into that sparring partner rhythm. If Staley could just break out of that and just be a little bit more offensive, a little busier, I think he could just do so much better.
Now they're scheduled for 6 rounds, and we are in round number 4.
Ron Smith is doing well to go to the body. That's definitely what I would have him doing.
Well, they've done a lot of leaning and pushing. Ron Smith trying to get busier, slaps Staley on the nose with an open left hand.
A lot of pushing, Henry. It's like sumo boxing.
As we come to the end of round 4, Andrew Staley maintains his lead. We'll come back and find out what round 5 has to offer in 1 minute.
Girl from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Here we are in round 5. Staley and Smith. Staley obviously with the leader, but he's going to have to be careful. Ron Smith got a little more aggressive in the last round, and he starts out round 5 the same way.
Yeah, Henry, actually, I'd be tempted to give Smith that last round. I think he landed some nice shots that might impress the judges, but he's going to have to stay busy like he's doing now. Good body shots, and finished it with that nice left hand.
Well, Ron Smith has a stationary target in Andrew Staley right now. A little more movement from Ron Smith. Left hand, a light left hand by Staley.
And Andrew Staley is not real good with his footwork as far as movement. The fight he lost, Henry, was here in Albuquerque against Martin Lopez, who was really just a journeyman opponent. And with some real nice movement, he was able to befuddle Andrew Staley and squeaked out the decision victory in that one. It was a unanimous decision.
Well, Ron Smith here continues to be the aggressor, and he is bothering Andrew Staley. If Staley's going to continue with these tactics, he's going to have to move more rapidly, because Ron Smith is coming after him.
Yeah, Staley needs to time Smith and catch him boring in. Stick that jab out there. He's waiting too long, and by the time he throws the jab, Smith is right on top of him. It's not going to work. He needs to get aggressive and start with the jab, and he's just not doing it.
Well, obviously both fighters are tired. But Ron Smith coming in, a big right hand by Staley. But Smith keeps coming forward.
And actually, Smith has been throwing some good uppercuts, but you know, Staley, he ought to consider trying an uppercut or two right here. Smith's coming in with his head down. I think Staley could sting him with some nice uppercuts.
Now, clearly, Staley does not want to move, dance, and stick. He just wants to stay in that methodical, very slow-moving pattern.
And this is a fight where Staley would have the edge at foot speed, but I don't think he knows it, Henry.
And I would believe that Ron Smith's confidence is building here. And Staley trying to throw a few punches, but the more he throws, the lighter they become. Good left hand. Now here comes Ron Smith, the aggressor now. Clearly the aggressor. Has a 4-10 record. On the other hand, Andrew Staley is 4-1. Each fighter with 3 knockouts in his career.
And really, Henry, Andrew Staley is considered the man as the prospect of these two. And it would be an upset if Ron Smith was able to pull this one out. But Staley's built a big lead, and if he can just stay busy, I don't see how he can lose this one.
Now Ron Smith trying gallantly to make this a fight. Left hand uppercut, and they'll lean and shove again. As we close down round 5, we'll come back with a conclusion. Round 6 should be interesting. We'll be back with it in 1 minute.
As long as I can hear you, I'm all right.
Here's round 6. Ron Smith, who got a scolding from his trainer before he came out to fight in round 6. And that was really the message right there, that he was behind in points and he's going to have to be extremely aggressive to make up for lost opportunity.
And Henry, I think Andrew Staley definitely jumped out to a big lead in those first 3 rounds. Staley has done a good job, though, of kind of changing the look of this fight. Ron Smith has done a good job to change the look. Big Ron Tractor Trailer Smith, I guess you would call it.
Now Ron Smith has made it closer. And curious as to how close. But I would think Staley still has the lead. But if Staley continues at this pace, Ron Smith could make this a very interesting decision for the judges at ringside.
Henry, it could be a tough decision because Staley is a little bit busier, but not a whole lot. He's not moving a lot or really doing anything flashy. But when Smith lands the shots, Henry, you know that he's landed solid, and that sticks in the minds of the judges.
Now Staley just continues to stick out that left jab. Hits Smith on the ribs. Nothing overpowering. And Smith continues to lean in and throw wild body punches.
And one thing, Henry, that'll also help Smith in the scoring, especially in New Mexico, is the aggression. The New Mexico judges love to see an aggressive fighter. The fans do too. And that's helping him.
Now Staley's punches don't seem to have a whole lot of power here in the 6th round.
Not a whole lot, but he is moving a little bit, Henry. And if he just keep pumping that jab out there, but I don't know why he stops and just holds on if he's tired or what. He shouldn't be. This is a 6-rounder.
On the other hand, he is so stationary that I'm surprised Ron Smith isn't busier.
Yeah, the table is set, but Ron Smith doesn't want to eat, Henry.
Well, he was having great success with the uppercut in previous rounds.
And Henry, you always, when you find something like that working, you use it till it doesn't work anymore. You don't save it, you use it.
Leaning and pushing. And now the big right hand from Ron Smith backs up Staley to the ropes.
Again, the impressive shot landed by Smith could have just wiped out all the work that Staley has done.
Low blow. And complaint from Staley to referee Merv Nephew.
Definitely low, Henry, and Staley's going to, if I was him, if he's feeling tired, I would milk it and get a rest here. He's entitled up to 5 minutes.
Well, I don't know how much time he is going to take, but obviously he was stunned immediately by that low blow.
Yeah, that was clearly low. There's no question about it. And you just never know if it really stung him or if he's taking a rest. But you got to remember, too, you're giving your opponent a rest.
Now, has he taken 1 point away from Ron Smith here?
You know, Henry, I wasn't looking at the referee.
All right. I think that's exactly what Merv Nephew did. It's a wild overhand right that hits Staley on the left ear. It had to hurt.
10 seconds to go.
Another left-hander, right hand by Smith. And Staley trying to hold off the very aggressive Ron Smith here in the closing moments. Was it enough? We'll find out when we come back to the State Fairgrounds in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Rising Stars 9. We'll come back.
I'll watch it.
Well, let's go up to ring announcer Mike Adams for the final tally, the final story of this bout.
We have a unanimous decision. Judge Quintana scores about 58-56. Judge Bagshaw scores about 59-56. And Judge Ash scores about 57-56. For the winner, Andrew DJ.
Well, Staley gets the decision, and you had it exactly like that, Daniel.
Yeah, 58-56. You have to take the point away in a close fight, and Staley pulls it out here.
All right, more Rising Stars competition coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Stay right at the right.